What's up, everybody? Biceps and back day. Q&A is back. Let's do some questions. If you were standing neck deep in a pool of vomit and someone threw a punch at your head, would you duck to avoid the punch? This is actually like a super easy would you rather. The clear answer is you would duck into the pool of vomit. Like, yes, it's absolutely disgusting and you're covered in vomit, but like take a shower, soap yourself off, use some extra smelly body wash or whatever, and then the situation is done. If you get punched in the face, you could have your nose broken, which means that you need to get surgery or get one of those stupid masks for like weeks. One punch can easily break your jaw. Now you're eating out of a straw for months and ruining your gains. You could actually, it's not even impossible for you to have a concussion from one punch and then have permanent brain damage for the rest of your life. You could even get punched and fall and hit your head on the ground and die. Now, in this case, you're standing neck deep in a pool of vomit, and that's going to cushion the fall, so I don't think you could die. But this is super easy, man. I'll take gross over injury any day. My natty friend doesn't train legs. He only trains upper body 6 times a week. Thoughts? He has a great physique. Well, no, he doesn't, right? Because he doesn't have legs, so he doesn't have a great physique. He has a great physique in your eyes, which is not a high enough standard to mean anything. Now, if he does actually have good legs, that's because he used to train legs in the past, and now he doesn't anymore, and they just maintain at a lower level, which is not unheard of. Branch Warren, the guy who once finished second at the Olympia, had legs that were so far ahead of his upper body that there were times in his career that he would just stop training legs and he would only train them the last 8 weeks before a contest, and he just focused on bringing up upper body throughout the rest of the year. So that's another potential situation at play here. But keep in mind, man, if you have no physique contest goals, you don't have to train any muscle group that you don't care about. Like, if you're a grown ass man or woman, you don't need anybody's permission to live the way that you want to live. Don't even ask, just do it. You don't want legs? Don't train them. Who cares what anyone thinks? Should we do short bias movements before lengthened bias movements, generally speaking, unless the reverse gives you a better SFR? Well, yes, but believe it or not, this just doesn't really say anything. It's not saying that much because there's so many instances where you're going to get a better SFR with the reverse order that whether it's short bias or lengthened bias might be like the 7th or 8th item on the list that you look at when determining exercise order. The most important thing for exercise order is always going to be SFR, sure, but also physique priority. For example, I would probably never have a beginner to intermediate, advanced intermediate type of person do leg extensions before squats. Yes, it might improve the SFR for quads specifically, but we're doing squats because of the huge global raw stimulus. And when you pre-exhaust before doing that, when you're not strong, you ruin that. Is it harder to stick to the gym than to win at it? Like become a high-level athlete or influencer? No, but I do believe there's some merit to what you're saying here. But here's why it's no. It's because the only thing that you truly need to stick to the gym, and this is why most people don't stick to the gym, is to actually like it. That's literally the only requirement. I would go to the gym and still work out if I was not an influencer, if I was not an athlete. And I have been periods where I wasn't an influencer or an athlete, and that's because, guess what? I actually like lifting weights. That said, the deeper you go into any profession, there's more incentive and reward to keep going. What causes more fatigue? Low intensity, high volume workouts or high intensity, low volume workouts? Well, first of all, it depends what you mean by intensity. By low intensity, do you mean higher reps? Like you're doing the 15 to 30 rep range, but still close to failure? Because if you mean low intensity, like far away from failure, then that doesn't cause a lot of fatigue because it also doesn't cause any results. You have to train close to failure to do anything. Have to be minimum within 4-ish reps of failure. Assuming proximity to failure is the same, whichever workout does more sets is probably going to cause more fatigue. Assuming an equal calorie balance, does adding cardio improve fat loss, health, and body composition? So if you're getting less than 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day, in my opinion, cardio is an absolute definite yes for improving health. I do think in the long run, it will also improve body composition because it's going to allow you to have the same rate of weight loss, weight gain, or even at maintenance with a higher amount of food, which means you have more nutrients coming in and there's more opportunities for positive nutrient partitioning. The second thing is that having a base of cardio will 100% improve your ability to rest less between sets and to recover faster between workouts. And if you're recovering faster between workouts, that means that you can either do them more frequently or use more volume. And either way, you're increasing the rate of muscle gain. So unless you have a high step count, cardio is mandatory for best results, in my opinion. Do leg extensions train the quad up by the hip? Leg extensions train the rectus femoris maximally, right? And rectus femoris is the middle muscle and like the the triangle looking-ish muscles in the quad. In terms of regional hypertrophy, the one study we have on this actually showed that when looking at the vastus lateralis, leg extensions did a better job of training the distal part, distal to the origin of the muscle, which means down by the knee. If you're looking to train rec fem, then leg extensions are definitely your go-to. What is the purpose of peaking for a powerlifting meet, and how do you do it generally speaking? So the purpose of peaking for any sport is basically the same. You want to go into the performance with the highest base level of fitness as possible and fatigue as close to zero as possible. So when you're operating under normal training conditions, you're gonna have anywhere from a low to high amount of fatigue, and your training fitness will be moving up and down based on how your training is going, right? You don't want to go into a meet with a moderate or high amount of fatigue, because readiness and the performance that you express on the platform is going to be the difference between your fitness level and your fatigue level. And while in training, we improve our performance mainly by improving our fitness level, for a meet, we want to drop fatigue temporarily as low as possible so that the gap between fitness and fatigue is as big as possible, so we perform as well as possible on meet day. This means a lot of high intensity and very low volume before the meet. All right, bro, you knew this filter was coming. You knew you deserved it. So here we go. Supinated curls are making my ulna feel like it's going to snap. I have to slowly let go of the bar. Otherwise, I get pain, blah, 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 in my ulna. Yeah, man, here's an idea for you. Don't use a bar. Use something with freedom at the wrist. There's these crazy things called dumbbells that you can use. There's also D handles that you can attach to any cable station. If there is movement that is hurting you, do something else. The other thing, if you're just dead set on using a bar for some reason, which so many of you are dead set on using a bar for curls, this is like an ego lifting thing, so you can talk about how much you can curl. I think it probably is. But anyway, try using a wider grip or a narrower grip. And if that still doesn't work, again, just do what I said and use something with freedom at the wrist. A dumbbell, a cable curl on a D handle. That should solve the problem. And barring that, of course, anytime that you have pain, talk to a PT, not an Instagram influencer. All right, everybody, that is the end of the video. So you know what to do. If you liked the video, like the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy another physique update instead of a dog photo. I'm sorry. I should be ashamed.